giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm fired up because we got our guy Patrick No C Walker joining us here in about 10 minutes to play a little buy or sell. It's not often I dangle the low-hanging fruit over Cowboys Nation's head. But today we will do that, and we will buy or sell some of the top Cowboys storylines going into training camp. Should be a fun one. Plus, in the roundup, Bomb Squad, we've got some more money moves. We have some more leaves falling from these trees, and it affects the Dallas Cowboys. So that conversation will also be had with our guy Pat. Look, straightforward show today, but it is Friday, so we'll have some fun with it, as we always do in our buy or sell segment.
Hurry up and buy!
Hurry up and buy. If you know where that's from, you know where that's from. But shouts out to the Bomb Squad. What's good with y'all?
Bomb Squad!
How we doing, man? How we doing? So we rating the UFL? Yeah, I mean, look, Rolo, Cowboys 2 for 2 in the UFL. I ain't complaining about not a damn thing. You know, if they get another one from the UFL and they go all Pro Bowl, then keep on rating the UFL, man. Keep on rating. Shouts out to you, Toxic. He just dropped $2 in the super chat already.
Super chat.
He said, "Happy early Father's Day, Will. Real MVP." Thank you, my friend, and happy Father's Day to all of the real fathers out there. Listen, y'all are appreciated. We are appreciated as long as you one of the real ones. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying to everybody, you know. The Guru, yeah, man, you missed a good show last night. Me and Mo, I told you we did the crossover, the DC Crisis crossover, and Mo had some fantastic questions lined up, and we had fun. The only thing about Mo's show is he likes them short. And I understand that because he tries to get in and get out, and that helps with the algorithm and things like that. Whereas, you know, me, I could talk. Apparently, I talk too damn much, you know. That's what they say on my own show. But it was a good one. Went about an hour, so go ahead and run that thing back. All right? With that said, let's go ahead and kick off this show in the roundup. And coming out of the roundup, we will talk to Pat. And we got a good one, man. Let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Oh, baby. We got the non-foots breaking news. We got the real breaking news. Comes across my desk yesterday. When I say desk, I basically mean my phone, but I'm trying to sound professional. It came across my desk yesterday. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars agreed to a 5-year extension at $275 million. $200 million of that guaranteed, $142 million guaranteed at signing. Hey, son, get ready to learn how to throw the ball, bro. By the time some of our kids get old enough to, if they get lucky enough to be one of the real ones, they could be looking upwards of $500 million guaranteed in about 15 years. this is getting crazy. The annual APY, right, annual per year, $55 million, which matches Joe Burrow. Now, there are devils in the details, right? We always say be careful with the big numbers. Now, $200 million, that's real. That's a real number. That ain't fake. 142 million guaranteed. That ain't fake. That's a real number. The APY is interesting because that can be finagled, and that's the easy number we all go off of. But so we'll stay there. 55 APY is what Burrow's getting. It is the highest in the NFL. And you just know, when Jerry Jones said we're waiting for these leaves to fall, he has now saw not just leaves, but trees get shaken, and there's probably no more left. In fact, I'm sorry. There's 2 more left. You've got Tua Tagovailoa and Jamar Chase. Those are 2 contracts that are potentially left that will affect the Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Now look, Dak has expressed he has no desire to be the highest paid quarterback in the league publicly. But he also understands the business aspect to this thing, and he's letting the business people handle that. And I think the reason why he can say that publicly is because he's not sitting at the negotiation table. And quite frankly, he knows he's good either way. But there's no way in hell Todd France is walking into that room after seeing Trevor Lawrence get $275 and $200 million guaranteed at 55 APY and say, yeah, we're going to go lower than that. Not happening. Not happening. I am intrigued, man, to see how this thing plays out. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, where I still feel confident of an extension, but there is definitely doubt that creeps in just because it's the Cowboys, you know. We don't make anything easy. Oh, brother. Cowboys Nation, how are we feeling about Trevor Lawrence getting a $200 million guaranteed contract from the Jacksonville Jaguars? As y'all talk about that here in the chat, I want to talk about OSMI. OSMI provides arthroscopic and robotic assisted orthopedic surgery, foot and ankle surgery, sports medicine, physical therapy, and a ton more. Their team of orthopedic specialists has offices in Fort Worth, Decatur, and Mansfield to provide state-of-the-art orthopedic care to the North Texas area. When it comes to medical care, you and your loved ones deserve the best possible experience. So schedule your hassle-free appointment today at osmifw.com or call 817-529-1900. Miss my guy, Dr. Boothby, man. We got to get him back on here soon. Busy dude. Off season, so not a lot going on, but we'll have him here soon. Trevor Lawrence, 5 years, $275, $200 million guaranteed. On one hand, you can say, who cares? It's the Jaguars. But I do think this one there's certain contracts that I don't think really affect, you know, Dak Prescott or CeeDee Lamb. Jefferson's does. I don't think Goff's did. I do think Lawrence does. I don't think Todd France could go in there and be like, man, Lawrence, no big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. I don't think he's nearly as accomplished, and there's context and everything, but it doesn't matter. He got paid what he got paid. Nick dropped 5 in the super chat and said, can someone explain why JJ is looked at as business genius? The front office struggles with the salary cap so much it's becoming malpractice. I think those two things differentiate, right? Like, there's the business side, real estate, you know, building buildings and investments and things like that Jerry Jones has made a living off of and is great at. Then there's the football infrastructure. Not what surrounds it, not the glitz and glamour, building a nice stadium and selling all the the merchandises and ads and all this. Not that the actual football part of it, I think requires somebody that is specialized in that field. I don't believe Jerry, who has been around the game for 30 years now, right? As an owner, over 30 years. I don't think he specializes in that field. I don't think he ever specialized in that field. And I don't think his son specializes in that field. If you go look at certain teams, they have guys who literally specialize in cap management. And the Cowboys, you could say, manage the cap just fine, right? Because they don't always go over. They have cap space and et cetera, et cetera. But there's different ways to do it. And it's clear, I don't care what you say, that the Cowboys way is not necessarily the right one. They do some things that make sense, but I think they just stray too far to one side. They don't really have a middle ground. So, oh God, this guy. All right, I'm blocking this guy. How did y'all not block this dude last time? The fake Mark Holmes. Sorry, Mark Holmes. So, yeah, I mean, Jerry could be an amazing businessman when he's negotiating in Frisco. He can be an amazing businessman when he's negotiating in Arlington. But when he's negotiating inside the Star with players who wear the Star in the helmet, yeah, well, that's where things get a little weird. Y'all blocked him, Swan? I mean, I just blocked him. Oh, he got a bunch of accounts. Oh man, what is wrong with y'all people? I already went on the tangent about this. I'm not going to do it again. What is wrong with these people, man? The Guru said, my disappointment is Cap Boy Stephen Jones doesn't seem to know football. No, I agree. I don't think he does. I don't think he does. Having Dak making 53 is dumb, says D-Shift. I mean, for the Cowboys, it's not. Cowboys would love that. He falls right under. But there's no way Todd France, hell, the NFLPA is probably going to be, hey, no, you don't do that. Not your caliber of quarterback. That will affect the market, or has the potential to affect the market. Not sure, Andrew, if Micah gets signed. I think he will. I think he will for sure. No doubt about it. But let's continue this conversation and much, much more, ladies and gentlemen, in this week's scientific method. But again, it's a twist. We're doing buy or sell. We're going to have some fun with it. So it's only right, ladies and gentlemen, that I bring in Patrick Nosey Walker this way. Good morning, good sir.
Why are you the way you are? Oh my God. You know what though? Never change, bro. Never change, man. Oh, thank you for that, man. That just made my morning. What's up, brother? What's up, man?
I knew you liked that, bro. I just knew it. We talking some buy or sell. It's only right.
That's comedy. Oh my goodness. That's perfection. Perfect.
Hey, somebody called you Patrick Bradshaw Layfield.
Oh my God. Nailed it.
Ah, man, I always have fun with you, bro. How we doing this morning? I know you traveling.
Yeah. Just came out here to a little short hop this weekend in North Carolina. You guys know, who follow me know I come to North Carolina pretty frequently, kicking with the family. So out here just for the weekend, though, obviously, as always, not touching the barbecue with the 10-foot pole because now no such thing as North Carolina barbecue, fight me. But just out here, man, just having some fun. And I'll be back in the office on Monday morning.
All right, let's continue this fun here on the Scientific Method, this week's version. I want to pick up this conversation. First, the Trevor Lawrence deal, just kind of your thoughts on it and the quarterback market. And obviously, we'll tie this into Dak Prescott. But before we get into the buy or sell, when you saw the number, was it shocking to you? And did you immediately say, just think about money signs and dollar signs for Dak?
No, And the reason I say that is because I think people need to understand that when it comes to certain positions, quarterback being the top of at the top of that list, wide receiver is another one. Market is not going down ever. It's not like running back where, if it's this type of league or that type of league, or it's the running back position being valued this way versus that way. No. Wide receiver one money, always going to go up. QB1 money, always going to go up. And Trevor Lawrence, much like Joe Burrow, I mean, they're getting paid what the market dictates. And that's what's going to happen with Dak Prescott. He's going to get paid what the market dictates. And then once his deal lands, whenever that might be, he's going to be, if not the highest paid player in NFL history, close to it. And then somebody's going to come along like 2 months later and eclipse that at the quarterback position, because that's how it goes. That's how it went last time. When he got his extension after 2 seasons of them trying to do it, and he became the highest paid quarterback, but then, that didn't last. And it's just because the market's always going to go up, 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 up. So when you look at Trevor Lawrence at 55 average annual salary, you look at his guaranteed money, I mean, nothing in that equation shocked me, because it's right on line with what the market dictates. And the market dictates that Dak Prescott, a first-team All-Pro last season, MVP runner-up last season. We know what happened in the playoffs, obviously, although that was more defensive wetting the bed than it was Dak Prescott. Dak got off to a slow start and couldn't save the day, but the defense is who lost you that game. But nonetheless, you're talking $60 million. I mean, that's the number in my head for Dak Prescott. You're talking 60 or close to it, maybe 59. Maybe you get him in at 58, maybe, but you're not getting him at 55, not getting him at 56. So those numbers don't shock me, because if the numbers for quarterback one deals are still shocking you, it's because you've not conceded to the reality that the market doesn't care about your feelings.
Facts don't care about feelings.
Your feelings. It also, facts don't care about feelings. That's science, baby. Facts don't care about your feelings, and the market doesn't care about your salary cap issues. The salary cap issues are your issues. You created those issues. The market is the market. Either you're going to pay it or you're not going to pay it.
So in lieu of this contract, let's now get to the buy or sell part. Buy or sell. Dak gets a deal done in training camp. Patrick Dorsey Walker.
I'm going to sell that. And the reason I'm selling that is not to say that it can't be done. I think that there's a solid chance. There's a solid chance it gets done in camp. But it's a two-way street. And on the other side of that street is Todd France. Okay? And Cowboys fans are pretty well versed in dealing with Todd France. And the thing about Todd France is, if that number and that term doesn't look like what he wants it to look like, then this is going to drag out a little bit. I mean, talk about the previous negotiation when the Cowboys wanted a 5-year, but Todd was like, no, we're not doing that. So I think that in the end, I do think that the two sides come to terms, and I do think that Dak Prescott gets another deal done. I do think that he's in Dallas for the foreseeable future. I just don't know that happens as early as training camp. I think Todd France wants to see more leaves fall. And I also feel like if you look at the history of negotiating with France, he doesn't, as far as his quarterbacks go, doesn't necessarily like to negotiate deals within the season. So if a deal doesn't get done in training camp, then it's probably a next offseason thing, which then, could blow up in Dak's face, so to speak, as far as him not getting as much as he possibly could. But at the same time, it's a roll of the dice. It could work even more favorably for him, because he's already entering with leverage. And then if he actually does use this prove-it season, if it turns out to be a prove-it season, if he uses this to get over the playoff hump as far as like playoff success, goes on a run, gets the Cowboys featured in, at minimum, the NFC Championship game, possibly the Super Bowl, and if he wins it on top of all of that,
Joe Flacco 2.0.
You're exactly. We're not even talking 60 anymore. We're talking 65. So, yeah, I think all of those things come into play. So I think it's possible. Absolutely, there is a solid chance for those that listen. There is a solid chance that gets the deal done in training camp. I just don't think that from his agent's perspective, that it would be the move to make.
You know, they use, well, Jerry used the term, all these leaves falling, and they're falling right in front of them. I do wonder if the one leaf that he's talking about that he's not saying is just Dak's season in 2024. If that's the leaf that they have to wait until January to fall. Because if that's the case, then won't be an extension until March.
Yeah, from Jerry's perspective, I don't think that's what Jerry is saying. From Jerry's perspective, he wants the deal done now.
His way, though, right?
Now he wants it done his way, right? And is that not how business goes? Yeah. So you have an agent who wants it done his way. You have an owner and a GM who wants it done his way, and that, folks, is called negotiation. You gotta come to terms and come to the table and meet in the middle, and that's where things get a little bit, timeline-wise, it's like win. So I think from a Jerry perspective, they are, and he said that they are comfortable with leaving his contract as is, quote unquote, because they did a little bit of restructuring in March or April, I believe it was March, I think, to just free up a little bit of salary cap so they can not do anything in free agency.
That's what's so weird about it, man. They complain. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Pat, but they complain about cap. Good, but if they really want their quarterback and really want their wide receiver, then you extend them. You create massive amount of cap that you can go do these other things for. So it's, you're really trying to sell me on something that's a lie, in my opinion, where they say, "Oh, we don't have the cap." You do.
And right, but see, the thing about it is I recognize that the organization is going to put certain talking points out there when it comes to the salary cap. I get that 100%. No differently than I expect, politicians to hit certain talking points when they're on the campaign trail. And that doesn't necessarily mean I have to buy into those talking points. Yeah. That just means I expect that you're going to say them. Okay. I expect you're going to say things like, I'm lobbying for a tax break for the middle class. And I expect you to say these types of things. I expect it, right? I expect you to say, oh, we're going to put all of this effort into saving Social Security. I expect you to say it. Do I believe it, though? Based on the data that I have, no, I don't believe it. And I translate that over to the salary cap equation. The Cowboys know full well, and a lot of knowledgeable Cowboys fans and analysts know as well, that this salary cap can be finessed however you want to finesse it. Okay. Example being, if you really wanted to free up a ton of money this offseason, you could have pulled restructure triggers on Dak, Trevon Diggs, Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, and I mean, we're talking tens of millions of dollars in savings that would have allowed you to sign, one or two whales in free agency, so forth and so on. The fact that you chose not to do it, just say that you chose not to do it.
Right.
Okay. And versus the talking point, which is what too many people are buying into, the talking point is, oh, well, the bill always comes due. Yeah, it does. But when that bill comes due, there's a way to finesse it and buy yourself more time before you actually have to pay that bill. Howie Roseman does it all the time. They did it every year under the Drew Brees regime in New Orleans. Seattle Seahawks, they do it. I mean, it's doable. The only question is, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? The problem with some fans, they're saying, oh, well, Dak is, if you give him this deal, he's going to eat up this big chunk of it. You're just not understanding how it actually works. You're gluing yourself to the talking point as opposed to the data points, and that's when people lose me.
Let's stay right there on the quarterback position. We talked a few weeks ago about how all the eyes were going to be on one Trey Lance this offseason, and that's exactly what was happening down there at OTAs. You guys got to see all of the OTA practices, if I'm not mistaken, and a little bit of Trey prior to that. So buy or sell Trey Lance as QB2 heading into training camp?
Heading into or coming out of?
Heading into.
Sell.
Okay.
Coming out of? Buy.
Yeah.
The best way to position this is, as we have this conversation, Trey Lance is not quarterback two. Cooper Rush is. And I don't simply say that because Cooper Rush is the incumbent. I'm saying that because as we have this conversation, Cooper Rush is still, even if slightly, he's still the better quarterback. He's also the better quarterback in this system, which is not, a knock to Trey because Cooper has been in the system for years upon years upon years, and he has that familiarity. And Cooper has been in the league for years upon years upon years, so he has that under his belt as well. Now, that means that right now, before the wheels touch down in Oxnard, or before in LAX and then drive over to Oxnard, but before the wheels touch down in Southern California, Trey Lance is QB3 right now. He hasn't done anything, and this is to be fair, and he knows this is true, and everyone knows this is true, has to know this is true. Trey Lance has not done anything right now to dethrone Cooper Rush from QB2. Nothing, not a single thing. Now, to be fair to the kid, he's not been given the opportunity to, has he?
Right.
Okay, because last year, when the Cowboys were blowing the doors off of teams in Arlington, who did they put in?
Coop.
They put in Cooper Rush because Trey was the emergency QB that entire time. Much to my chagrin, because in those instances, I think that was a perfect opportunity to get Trey Lance some actual game snaps in the Cowboys uniform. But Mike McCarthy deemed that he wasn't ready for that yet. Okay, fine. Fast forward to now, that just goes to my point. Because the Cowboys have not presented Trey Lance with the in-game opportunities, we have no data at all on if he's ready to take QB2, which means to me that combined with what I've seen in practice, Cooper Rush is still the guy behind Dak Prescott. Now let me segue that to my buy portion of this conversation. Coming out of training camp. Yeah, coming out of training camp. Now, based on what I've seen with my own two eyes, mini camp practices and the open portions of practice last season he looked very green. Showed a couple moments in practice, but looked very green. What I've seen from him in those two mini camp practices that we were allowed to see, he looks infinitely more confident. His throws look much better. His footwork and his timing and his pace are much more in line with what the system is. So that version of Trey Lance, if he can hit training camp and build upon that, and then preseason, which is going to be paramount for him, but it also means the Cowboys have to throw him out there preseason. He needs to be starting preseason games. He needs to be playing the majority of preseason games. I'm talking like
start and finish.
4 full quarters, 3 quarters, right. Let's run it. He needs all the possible reps because you know what you have in Cooper Rush. So the only Cooper Rush reps I want to see in preseason games are just enough to keep him sharp.
Right.
But you're trying to do a full-blown evaluation and analysis of Trey Lance, so you need to give him the majority of those 12 quarters because you only got 12 quarters to do it. You only got 3 games. You only got 12 quarters to do it, and he needs most of those. So give me 10 to 11 quarters of Trey Lance in the preseason. Give me a good, healthy 50-50 split with the second-team reps. Do not relegate him simply to third-team reps in Oxnard practices. And I think if they do that, based upon the foundation that I'm seeing from minicamp, I think that you can buy that Trey Lance will be QB2 coming out of camp, but he's got to earn it.
Hurry up and buy!
You're buying it, man.
Hurry up and buy! I feel sorry for you. What you say about my mama?
What you say about my mama? He said, do we have a problem?
A problem. Did I say scud?
Oh,
All
man,
right,
what a classic movie, bro. We got Patrick Nosey Walker, if y'all don't know by now, joining us at DallasCowboys.com on this week's version of the scientific method. Going into the next one here. Buy or sell. We're going to stick with the offense side. All these are offense. Kevontae Turpin will see an increased role. And the reason I got to bring this up before you answer, is because last year in training camp, there was a lot of hype around Kevontae Turpin seeing an increased role. And to be fair, he did see an increased role. I believe Robert Prince talked about this at when you guys spoke to him a little bit. So I'm going to play this real quick.
First of all, with Terp, when he first got here, he was just really a returner and kind of a gadget guy. I think last year he took a bigger step as being a true receiver, and we're looking forward to him playing more receiver. And then with this new kickoff, his value tremendously went up.
So he brought it up again. We're looking forward to him doing more receiver things. Buy or sell, Kevontae Turpin will see an increased role, Pat.
All right. We'll put it this way. Kevontae Turpin and Dak Prescott are so in sync that you got to buy. I'm telling you, I've seen this in OTAs. I've seen this in OTA. Oh, I'm gonna wait, baby. I've seen this in OTA. I've seen it in mini camp. I actually said this in my notes from OTAs, and I think it's in one of my tweets as well. As a matter of fact, I know it's in one of my tweets. Kevontae Turpin has been getting a ton of burn when it comes to first-team reps. Now, obviously, Jalen Brooks and Jalen Tolbert have as well, but Kevontae Turpin's getting a lot of burn in first-team reps, and not just that, he's getting a ton of targets from Dak Prescott. I saw on several occasions in several practices where he was the one that, Dak was looking for. And on top of that, Kevontae did not logged no drops, so he didn't drop the ball a single time after all of those targets. They had him in a variety of routes and a variety of positions. They had him on deep wheel routes. I remember this one deep wheel route to the right. Kevontae beats his coverage in the 7-on-7 drill and comes down in the end zone with the touchdown on the over-the-shoulder dot from Dak. Magnificent. 2 plays later, it was the inside slant from the slot. He took it, got, a few yards of yak from that, so they're putting him in different positions to be successful. So I say all of that to say Kevontae Turpin, absolutely buy him as having a ratcheted up number of targets and production offensively for the Cowboys this season.
I'm with you. I think you can buy this, and it's because we've seen the evidence. In 2022, do you know how many snaps Kevontae Turpin played, Cowboys Nation, on offense? 62. All season. 62. He more than doubled that. Now, it wasn't like it was 300, 400, 500, but it went all the way up to 140. And you listen to Robert Prince, even when you listen to Mike McCarthy going into last year, he said, hey, we needed Turpin to kind of get better in the film room and understanding how to play the position. And obviously he did that enough to where they used him more as a receiver, but mostly as a little bit of a gadget guy. And I still think they'll do that. But if Turpin is continuing to progress that way, I think this 140 can go to easily 300. And if it goes to 300, I feel like we can get 3, 4, 5 more touchdowns out of Kevontae. I know that sounds crazy because he had 4, but he's that explosive. So I 100% buy this, Pat. And honestly, they should want to. When you lose, and I say lose loosely here, Michael Gallup, right? Those receptions and targets have to go somewhere. And I know Brooks and Tolbert are here. But Kevontae Turpin showed you when you gave him more opportunities, he made do of them. So, yeah, I buy this 100%.
And this is where it also, and this is why I say, obviously there are other positions to keep an eye on that are atop the totem pole of watching matchups in training camp, running back being one of them, for example. But when it comes to this wide receiver battle, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, hell, even wide receiver 5 battle, that's going to be just absolutely sensational because we're sitting here, we're talking about Turpin, and I've seen the evidence in both practice and trajectory to now. He's going to get a lot more reps. But same with Jalen Tolbert. He's earned that right. But then Jalen Brooks has also earned that right. But then you look at someone like Jalen Cropper, who had a great training camp. Injury kind of, messed that up for him. He's coming back to battle. And I just told you guys, I saw Jalen Cropper getting some burn in the second team and maybe in the first team as well. Ryan Flournoy, what does he match this equation? Because you talk about parting ways with Michael Gallup. Well, your ex guy, your true ex is supposed to be Flournoy, and he runs routes that are already better than some of the guys on the team that, have been in the NFL. But at his size, should he be able to run routes that well? But that goes to the fact that his raw athleticism is arguably the best on the entire roster. Yeah. And if you don't believe me, go look at his score, his RAS score, right? It's almost a perfect 10, right? He's an absolute monster from an athletic standpoint. And he's the guy who has played multiple positions in football over the course of his football career. So I say all that to say still, Turpin, Brooks, Tolbert, Cropper, Flournoy, all of these guys and the others, but those are on a different tier. But all of these five guys are all battling for the right to take snaps that have been vacated by Michael Gallup. And, man, that's going to be fun to watch in Southern California.
Yeah, I think that's, we're doing our countdown to camp and doing camp battles. I think that's the number one camp battle there, wide receiver 3, for sure.
Yeah, I'm willing to I'm willing to jump on that.
Yeah.
No Diddy.
Let's stick to the wide receivers here, man, and finish this off with, Dak's storyline is obvious, right? That's a low hanging fruit. But CD Lamb's storyline is right there with it, because I'm still baffled that he's not signed an extension at this point. So buy or sell, Cowboys extend CD Lamb before the season.
Buy. I'm buying that. I think it happens in training camp. I think it happens no later than the first week of training camp. Now, obviously, I could be wrong, but this is me reading the tea leaves. This is me hearing the whispers inside the building. This is all of the data that I have laid out in front of me. I think it gets done in training camp. And even if it takes the Zach Martin arc, where it's just like, okay, maybe they, potentially call his bluff a little bit more and he misses the first couple days of training camp or so, maybe. But I don't think this drags out any more than the first week of training camp. I think they get it done then. They want the deal done. CeeDee Lamb wants the deal done. CeeDee Lamb wants to be back with his teammates. But at the same time, he understands that this is his first real chance at getting generational money that he's earned, more than earned. Mm-hmm. And he understands as well that the Cowboys haven't had a talent of his nature since Dez. So he understands that they need to pay for that. And that's 100% fair. This is the business aspect of it. So, is CeeDee Lamb going to be on the field for the Cowboys in 2024? Absolutely he is, by hook or by crook. But I do believe that as far as when the deal comes, I think it comes in training camp, no later than the first week of training camp. That's just my feel. It's just my read on it.
And can't you argue with the Justin Jefferson deal getting done a lot? I mean, sooner than I think a lot of us expected, that should speed up things, because I think it's clear.
It does.
Jefferson's agent, Lamb's, Chase, these guys are all waiting for one of them to go first.
It does. It was always Jefferson or Lamb. It was always Jefferson or Lamb, right? Chase and Ayuk and these guys, while their money is going to be comparable, the two horses that lead this race, and you could argue that Chase to a degree, but the two horses that lead this race have been Jefferson and Lamb. Jefferson's deal getting done ahead of minicamp did, in fact, now provide the number, right? Because the Cowboys didn't have the number. This has to be agent provided. Cowboys have what they would like to pay, but they need the agent to engage and say, okay, well, how far are we from your number? But without Justin Jefferson's deal, and the same went for Justin Jefferson's agent and the Minnesota Vikings, they're like, hey, but without CeeDee Lamb's deal, we don't necessarily know what our floor is. Now we know what the floor is with Justin Jefferson's deal. So that did, in fact, trigger conversations to have substance now between CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys. And really, there was a feel that it might have been done at some point in minicamp. So the fact that there was at least that feeling tells me, or gives me confidence, that at any point between now and the end of the first week in training camp, I feel it gets done. I feel both sides, they have their numbers now. They want it done. I do not see this dragging out.
And I just think from a morale standpoint or precedent standpoint, they need to get this deal done sooner rather than later, so that they're not setting up the stage for the next young guy, like Micah Parsons, right? And so forth, which has already been done. Dez Bryant had to hold out. Zach had to do something. Zeke had to do it. They played around with DeMarcus Lawrence. He said, I'm not getting surgery. So the precedent has been set that you got to play hardball back with them. But it'd be nice if they can kind of start changing the tide here and say, all right, these are our guys. We want you to be here. Y'all want to be here. Let's hammer this thing out and get it done like all these other teams are doing, so that we can now build around you with said cap savings or et cetera. Because at this point, if I'm Micah, who's up next, if I'm Deron Bland and Tyler Smith and these guys, I'm looking at this is how you negotiate. Don't show up, play hardball, because they're going to do it to you.
I agree with that 100%. And there are obviously instances where the Cowboys have both kind of let their resistance to setting the market create tenuous situations. And it's also true that there are situations where they got the deal done ahead of time. Trayvon Diggs, for example, they got the deal done ahead of time. Now, that being said, one big reason that deal got done ahead of time was because Trayvon he didn't set
He
the
ain't
market.
set the market. Yeah, fair.
So, and you could argue that Trayvon could, and not even you could argue, it's facts. Trayvon could have pulled the same thing that CD is doing, and justifiably so. I do not disagree with CD is doing because, like you said, you have to play hardball when you're negotiating with a team that doesn't want to set the market, but you have a talent that sets the market, that demands you set the market financially. So, unless CD Lamb and his representation want to acquiesce in the way that Trey Diggs did and say, you know what, okay, we're not looking to set the market, but if we can come in close to what the market demands or what Justin Jefferson is getting, and then maybe you throw a little bit more guaranteed money on it, I think if they do it that way, I think it speeds up the deal getting done. If they don't and they say, you know what, no, we want each one of these parameters to exceed Justin Jefferson's, which they're well within their rights to do so, then that's when it's not getting, to me, that's when it doesn't get done today or next week or the week after, not without Jerry Jones sitting back and saying, you know what, let's not even play around with this guy for both precedent reasons and for the simple fact that we know how this story ends. It ends with him setting the market, and every day we wait, it's going to cost us more money because another deal is going to land, another leaf is going to fall, and we can't keep doing this. So I think it takes one of those two things to happen. Either the Cowboys have to say, you know what, we can't keep doing this. Let's just get this done. Or CeeDee Lamb's representation says, you know what, make our annual average salary maybe like $1 million less than Jefferson, but give us $10 million more in a signing bonus, and you got a deal. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think it gets handled this summer.
I agree with you, and I think CD and his representation knows, hey, man, whether it's here or elsewhere, I'm finna get the bag. So whenever you're ready, holla at me.
The whole thing. and listen, like I said, CeeDee Lamb is going to be in a Cowboys uniform on the field by hook or by crook. But if for whatever reason, and I do not foresee this as happening,
franchise,
but it's not impossible, so I'll speak on it. It's one of those things where if CeeDee Lamb's deal is not done by next offseason, it doesn't get cheaper, folks.
No.
It doesn't get cheaper. It only gets more expensive. So if you are uncomfortable right now with a wide receiver one's number being, 35, 36, 37. Just know that next year it's going to be 43.
Whew. Man,
that's all I'm saying.
This, goodness, man, this salary cap thing crazy. Granted,
get it done right now.
Yeah, I believe it's the only major sport that has the hard cap. I think everyone else has a soft cap or no cap at all.
Yeah, but there's still so much finesse that can be done.
Yes,
and also
yes.
Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that it takes a pandemic to make the salary cap go down. Other than that, it's going to go up with explosive growth year over year over year, which goes back to what I was saying as far as people are sticking too much to the talking points, not the data points. Data points indicate that as market values are going up and you're paying these players more, TV contract revenue is going up, and not even commensurate with those deals. They're going up exponentially more than the market value. So don't let the NFL sell you on, and teams, any of the 32 teams.
Steven, don't let Steven sell you on it. I'm saying
that. And again, and I get it. I got love for the Joneses, obviously. But I'll say this to Steven as well. And I've had these conversations with Steven. I've talked to Will and McClay. And the fact is, I understand the talking points. I understand them. Just know that I have the data points. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's 2024, man. I
got the data points. So talk your talk.
What
by all means. I get it.
What man say?
Ticket, but
what Cat say? He said, "Do you know I can see you? we can see
we
you
right here. We right here." But seriously, man, and this is and I love it because it's a mutual respect. I know that they're going to politic it. I get it. And then they know that once they're done politicking it, I'm gonna put out a Science Lab article.
Come on, man. That's right up the alley.
My Science Lab article is gonna absolutely lay everything out. Or I'm gonna put a tweet out and say, hey, I'm just saying you can restructure that. It's the dance, man. It's the dance. So, they'll have their talking points. I'll continue to educate fans and we'll keep doing this dance, man, and hopefully how they view the salary cap, hopefully that changes going forward. And more importantly, hopefully fans understand that that whole pie analogy.
Sorry.
The pie is not finite, right? When you bake a pie, it's fixed in space and time, right? It's whatever you made. That's not how the salary cap works. It's actually a living, breathing organism.
You know what I think about when I hear about the pie talk for Stephen Jones? Remember in Life when Martin Lawrence ran across the line to go chase the pie down, and he's sitting behind the house eating the pie and it's hot. I just think like Stephen Jones is just sitting there like, it's my pie. Right? That's Stephen. That's Stephen, man.
Or Cartman from South Park. My pie.
Well, that's a good. Yeah, you got the accent, so that's perfect. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So once folks break out of the thought process that the pie is like this, I get it. It's finite in the aspect of the number is a hard number that's established. But if you look at it year over year, it's not the same pie year over year, because the pie is going to continue to get larger and larger and larger. And this is without me going into the caponomics aspect of it as far as dead money. Is it front loaded? Is it back loaded? I'm not going to get into all of that. The fact of the matter is, there's enough free resources for you, the fan, to be able to utilize to educate yourself to the point where you can hear the talking points without buying into the talking points blindly. And that's all I ask.
Ooh,
and that's the science.
That's the science right there, bro. That's the perfect way to end it, bro. Hey, look, this was a fantastic one, another fire one. Pat, I know you're traveling, so safe travels, brother. Appreciate you for coming through, and can't wait to get back into this next week too.
Fun as always, brother. I'll talk to you guys soon.
There you have it. Patrick Bradshaw Layfield, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, this was one of the more fun scientific methods that we've done, and that's because me and Pat are fools for real behind the scenes. But I wanted to bring that onto the scenes. But good stuff here, man. A lot to take away from. If you missed it, run this thing back. But if you missed it, we'll also be dropping it tomorrow morning for you guys to run it back. Quick little break. Give you some time if you want to call into the show. Because again, like I said, man, pretty straightforward show today. It's Friday, so we'll wrap to y'all as we close out the show. 351-999-3787. Actually, I closed out the phone line. Let me bring it back. Hold up. Bow. There we go. All right, 351-999-3787. If not, we'll just wrap in the chat.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Hey, you like the JBL? I hit Pat up and say, hey, Pat, I got something special for you on the intro, man. I'm doing some buy or sell. I was, I'm always in the creative mindset. I was like, what can I play that's like JBL? One of, not argue this, and we can have this conversation another time. The greatest heels of all time. I feel like he took, and wrestlers do this all the time. He took Ted DiBiase's rich guy heel persona and just put it on a different level. He was diabolical, man. I wasn't as tuned in at the time, but I see the highlights per se, and you can go back on Peacock. Bro went to the border. I can't even. He went to the border and he told the Mexicans to go. Yo, Vince McMahon was a madman. In fact, he played the role so well. I legitimately thought JBL was, one of them ones. I thought JBL was a Tiki Torch. I'm just saying. He played the role so good, I thought he was Tiki Torch. And then I believe the other day he came out and said something. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't see that happening for JBL, but I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Shouts out to the Angry Cowboy. He said, great WWE wrestler. I liked him better with Farouk. Oh, APA is iconic. It's iconic. One of the great tag teams in the Attitude Era. But I'm not sure if you stuck around for JBL. Bro, it was an amazing heel. Amazing. One of the best of all time. Top 5 in my opinion. Again, I think he took what Ted DiBiase did and he just made it more diabolical. Fantastic superstar. Vince McMahon, he was special. Yeah, JBL was special. Man. He held down SmackDown during a weird time. I think he was like the champ on SmackDown for a year. My bad. Now we're getting into wrestling talk. I see my boy Lennox in the building. He got Triple H, DiBiase, Piper, greatest heels. Man, Triple H was, and he stayed a heel after the fact, right, with the Authority. But yeah, I got DiBiase up there too. Piper is probably, for old school fans, and shouts out to you, Lennox, Piper might be number one. Might be number one. Grande said the cowboy hat. Bro, the cowboy hat, the damn theme, just when you rolling out with the limo with the horns on front. Look, not to make Taz, I think Solo Sikoa does it now. They put the towel around their neck, right? Mr. Perfect used to come out with the towel. A couple other people. But the way JBL did it with his ridiculous trunks, the jacket, tucked the towel inside with the hat. I don't know, man. It was perfection of a heel, right? Just an amazing dude. Ric Flair? Anti-hero more. I mean, he obviously was a heel with the Authority, right? And I guess he was a heel in the NWA era. I don't know. I guess I could see it, but I feel like everybody loved him. The reason why JBL's heel works is everybody legitimately hated this dude. He got real heat, not cheap heat, real heat. Rick Rude's a good one. Again, you didn't talk about taking someone's persona and doing your own thing. Val Venus, did the whole Rick Rude thing and took it to a whole nother level. Yeah. Man, look, I'm having fun talking about this, but I understand we have to get back into Cowboys things. But if y'all want to talk wrestling, we could do it, man. Hogan, the greatest face and heel, the greatest face, and then the greatest heel. I would disagree on greatest. I see where you're going, Roland. But I will say this. Most important heel turn. And he was damn good. Don't get me wrong. You put him in the top 10. Right? I would put Hogan in the top 10 as a heel of all time. I think he was the most important heel turn of all time. Obviously, NWO and what that did for the business. And he played it damn good, right? But when you think of heel, I just think of like lifelong, like I said, Piper for the most part. I know he went back and forth sometimes. Ted DiBiase, JBL, like I think those are heels, man. And the thing about Hogan is, do I still got the drop? Nah, I don't got the NWO drop no more. Yeah, I do. I mean, he was cool. You couldn't hate the NWO. You wanted to be a part of it. You may not love us, but you're going to learn to respect us. You know what I mean? Oh, gosh. Vicky Guerrero's excuse me was ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. I guess we ain't in overtime, but this is overtime for the show. I'm having fun with y'all right now, man. Appreciate y'all. It's been a fantastic show. Our guy Pat dropped in. If you missed it, run that thing back. Right now, we're talking to the chat. We're talking about some of these heels. Talking a little wrestling. Shawn Michaels super kick. Yeah. That was a great heel turn. One of the greatest, arguably, let's be honest. I ask you this. This will be a fun poll. More iconic turn. Marty Jannetty in the barbershop with getting kicked by Shawn Michaels to turn heel. I don't know if this is fair. Or Hogan, he comes out and who was it? Was it Heyman who was like, whose side is he on? He gets in the ring and he does the leg drop on Macho Man and he points to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and they form the NWO. What is more iconic? I feel like, and I'm biased, I ain't gonna lie, Shawn Michaels' my favorite of all time. Shawn Michaels' kick is more iconic because of the image of Marty Jannetty hanging through the window. But damn it, how do you go against forming the NWO? Hulk Hogan, a lifelong face, eat your vitamins, 64-inch pythons, that whole thing. How do you say no to that when he turned heel? It was legitimately like, what? You had people throwing garbage in there. There was real, people were really pissed. I'm talking myself into that. Yeah, it's Hogan, bro. Not only did it change the complexity, screw WCW, James, it changed the industry. It changed the industry. I feel you, Lennox. Hulk Hogan at the end of the day. But just talking about the end, like I say this a lot, right? When I think about like Mount Rushmores, I don't like Hulk Hogan. When you hear about behind the scenes, I don't think he was a great of a wrestler, but he understood the business, and it's impossible not to put him on the Mount Rushmore because he literally changed the landscape of the business. Wow. I did not expect to hear from Toxic today with the wrestling talk, but what's up, Toxic?
Good morning, Sky. First off, again, happy pre-Father's Day. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend with your kiddos and they can see their role model in their home. Really serious holiday for me, so just wanted to reach out, tell you that, man.
Thank you. Are you a father as well?
Not that I know of.
just in case.
Hey, I don't like surprises.
All right.
So I got a question for you in regards to this Dak Prescott contract.
Okay.
First off, do you watch baseball at all?
I used to, brother. I stopped after the steroid era. I would love to go back to the steroid era, but go ahead.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Scott Boras before?
Oh, yeah, I know Scott Boras.
Okay. Do you think that Dak might be, and Todd France might want to, unless the Joneses offer a Dak a deal that is just too sweet to pass up, why wouldn't Todd France tell Dak, hit free agency and up this leverage that you already have even more?
I'm sure Todd France is. Todd France.
Okay.
I don't know the guy, but if I had to guess, I don't think he cares about. Okay, I'm wrong. I shouldn't say this because agents should care about what their players want, but there's also that 10% kickback they get in their pockets, right? I feel like Todd France, for what's best for Todd France, is let my client hit free agency. My client, and I sound like speaking to Hills. Hold up, my bad. I'm on some OCD stuff right now or ADHD stuff. Paul Heyman is top 5 heel of all time. Anyway, my client, Dak Prescott, right? He's going to ball out 30 touchdowns plus 10 or a little bit less interceptions, 4,500 yards. Dak going to do that. He going to hit free agency, 31 years old, in his prime, and get a bag somewhere. So, yeah, I'm telling my client to do that. But then there's Dak who says, yeah, I hear you. But if I can get a deal done that I'm comfortable with, I want to be here in Dallas. My family's here in Dallas. I just had a baby. I love where I'm at. Businesses, everything is just set up here for me. I'm fine with taking the 57 and not the 60 that you want. Or I'm fine with taking the 150, what is it? What was it, 142 you got guaranteed? So 150 guaranteed, not the 160 I want. Or 205 guaranteed, not the 260 you want. Right? I feel like if they get something close to what Dak wants, Dak will say, man, come on, take the deal, bro.
Mm-hmm. And then to add on to that, during these negotiations, do you think Dak Prescott and his team are also telling the Jones or saying, hey, outside of money, the way you guys have been building teams around me is dog shit. I want something in writing that says you are actually going to build a proper team around me and not just blame my cap hit that you manufacture. You think that's you think that's on the table?
I was about to say like no, hell no, but because that's not the type of player he is. But that last part you said is fair. Like, how many times you gonna come in front of these cameras, bro, and talk about, oh, well, we ain't got the cap because we're paying Dak and we got to pay CD and we got to pay. Like, man, listen, relax with all that. That ain't my problem. You need to figure that out. Other teams figure it out all the time. You need to figure that out. So maybe there might be a little part of them that may have somebody else say that. But if I had to guess right now, I don't believe he's the type of person that's going to go to them and say, well, get this or get that or do this or do that, or I'm not signing. I can't see it.
Okay. Those are my only two questions for you today. Keep it short. And lastly, the greatest heel of all time is my ex-wife. Y'all have a great weekend.
Yo, that's a hey. If my wife is listening, I don't foresee it, but if anything were to happen, I'm using that line. Because I'm going to be talking about wrestling for the rest of my life. And if it ever comes up, yeah, man, my greatest heel of all time is my ex-wife. It's amazing. Another great toxic take. Great toxic take. Y'all still talking wrestling in here? Man, this just got me fired up for when this thing gets fired up. Still not allowed to really talk about it. Grande Papi said, I mean, this is what Grande Papi said for real.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
That's another iconic moment. Hold up. I'm just playing around now at this point. There's another iconic moment right here. Hey, we got B-Bird in the building. What's good with you, B-Bird?
Not much, man. It's gonna be real quick, Scott.
Right.
I saw. I always go back to Herbert signing last year, and how quiet it was before it, and Trevor Lawrence and how quiet it was before that. And I just say that real GMs move in silence. That's my kind of quote.
Hold on. Don't slide. Don't just let that slide. Because if you know the bar from Lil Wayne, real G's moving silent like lasagna. You could say real GMs moving silence like lasagna. Ooh, I like it. Go ahead.
But everywhere else, and I've always said this, that the franchise quarterback is handled with kid gloves. Not just financially, but also, too, just about the way that they perceive their image. They keep them intact. But I think, too, I'm just looking at something, and this is a question I was going to ask. I think it's really just business with everybody else when they negotiate with their quarterback. It's just business. I think the Jones take it personal. And I think that's what it is. I think they take it personal because it's their money, and it gets in the way. I just want to get your take on that. That's, like I said, it's going to be a quick call because I think in Dallas, a lot of the contracts become personal with the Joneses, and it kind of gets in the way, man. I wanted to just get your thought on that, and I'm going to get off the line.
All right. Hey, appreciate the call, B-Bird. That is so interesting that you say that because yesterday on Mo's show, I actually brought that up, Mo. I brought that up, B-Bird. When Mo said something of, why can't X, Y, Z or happen? And I'm like, well, I think it's because the Cowboys operate, or at least are operating in this point, with feelings. And Jerry all but said it immediately 3-4 years ago, whenever the contract happened, where he said, damn it, you got me. I've been got. I got taken to the woodshed on this contract negotiation, and they don't want that to happen again. So I think they're operating with their feelings on this specific one for sure. Because I don't think they want to no trade clause, no franchise tag, set the mark. They don't want to go through that again. And Dak even said something similar where he was like, hey, the first time around is different. There was a little bit more, it was a little bit more personal to me at the time. Having been franchise tagged twice, broke my ankle, things like that. Where this time, I don't think it's as personal to Dak, especially because of who he is now, right? In year 8, second team All-Pro, second MVP. He knows he's comfortable in his own skin. Where look, if y'all don't want to make this happen, fine. I love it here. I want to be here, but what I'm not going to do is take it to the woodshed like I did to y'all. So it'll be fascinating. I still think it gets done, but every day that goes by, there's a little bit of doubt that creeps in. All right, last one here. We got 662. Not familiar with this one. What's good, 662? Uh-oh. 662, what it do? You are live. You got me on mute. Going once. Going twice.
Hello?
Ooh. Almost sold you to the man with the exceptional beard. What's good?
How you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Yes, sir. Your static and our connection is not good on my end.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will let you say what you need to say, and we'll talk about it off the phone. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'll call back. Maybe I can get a better connection.
Okay, I can hear you fine.
I really didn't. I didn't get the conversation really good because I couldn't understand what was being said.
Got you. My apologies. I'm not really sure why sometimes it does that. But can you hear me fine now?
I was watching your show here on Screaming. It's a rerun.
Okay.
And so I seen the phone number and I called. But I'm a Cowboy fan, and I do have some interesting things to say if I could really get, into the conversation. But I'll call back later. How long you gonna be on this morning?
Oh, I'm done now, sir. I won't be back until next week on Monday. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll call back.
All right. Appreciate you, sir.
Yeah.
My bad, y'all. I mean, I know sometimes it's a little he said staticky, but muffled maybe. I'm not sure. I'll figure that out. We still working on a budget here, right? But hey, man, there's some things in the work where that budget about to increase. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Grande Poppy said that's Marv's cousin. What a call. Let me say something real quick. If y'all don't, if you're like, this is your first time or something like that, and you go into the chat, don't take nothing these goddamn hooligans say seriously. Okay, they just having fun. Shouts out to the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Swain said he got the where it go? He got the phone with the cord that reach around. Hey, look, don't take it personally, man. They come for me every day. So y'all are funny. That's a bro man moment. What you doing in here, bro man? I was hungry. Good stuff today. Please, if you enjoyed today's scientific method, one of my favorites, hit the like button on the way out. We even got a ton of wrestling talk. Y'all know I mix in wrestling all the time because, as you can see, huge wrestling fan. And obviously back here. But as you can see, I love to talk wrestling. But today we talked it more than probably any day since I started this. So shouts out to y'all. Swain a real life comedian, dog. Real life. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this button so we can get up out of here. And I'll be back Monday. Same schedule next week, unless something changes. But I'll be back Monday. We'll continue our countdown to camp. We'll continue our State of the Unit series. And I know I've been saying this for like the last 2 years, but I really do miss doing some of our Around the Nation stuff. It's just tough now. There's so many creators. So it's harder to get everybody on the same schedule. And now I'm doing morning. I used to do evenings, but I'm going to try to figure this out. At least I want to do it one damn time. So I'm going to try to do something different during this dead period. It is probably one of the more disappointing dead periods because the Cowboys were extremely quiet this offseason, but we're going to make it work. That's what we do. All right. With that said, I'm going to press this button. I'm going to press this one first, though, because one of the greatest things. Then I'm going to press this button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there. I'm excited for my Father's Day weekend. Get a chance to spend it with my sons, my wife. And I don't really be needing nothing. I told her that. I'm just glad to be with y'all. Love y'all to death. See y'all on Monday. Peace.
Bomb Squad!